Unicorns, coming to you guys with a quick story time. So we we actually we had a house and we had 3 bedrooms and we rented out one of them. But previously, before we rented it out, we let my sister stay there before she went off to college. And I really, for one thing, I'm glad we did that because, I think one of her things, especially being at the age she was, she just wanted to have her own space. And growing up, we always had to share a room a lot of times. It was sometimes we didn't have to, but I'm just kind of glad she got to have her own space before she went off to college and had a roommate. So it's like back where she was before. So but after she was able to move out and go to college and stuff, we had some tenants in our room, and they weren't bad people, at least from what I perceived. It's just some of the things, you know, didn't really line up with the way I live. But luckily, they had to move anyway. Not necessarily luckily, but I mean, hey, you can call it luck if you want. They ended up moving out after a little while. But it was a couple. It was a guy and a girl. Well, the first people, there was a guy and a girl. And the guy was cool. My husband had kind of grown a relationship with him. They were kind of friends. They would hang out sometimes. They would talk a little bit, and they were cool. Um, and we didn't really even charge high rent. It was really cheap, and it was so cheap to the point where we were sometimes we were look, just buy the materials for paint and stuff, so you could paint our dining room and garage. And at the time, that's what they did. They painted the dining room and the garage. It wasn't a professional job or anything, which we weren't looking for. We just wanted it to be different from how it was. And, it was cool. So, yeah, they had their friendship. And I guess the girl kind of expected the same from me. And it's nothing against her specifically. It's just I don't like to associate or align myself with a certain type of people. So, some people would see it as a social climber, but it's that's not it. It's just you don't want to be around people who you would be brought down by. I don't know you. You're not one of my friends from the past. You're not a family member. So I have no obligation to talk to you. You're really just a tenant in my house. So him becoming friends with the guy, Lucky becoming friends with the guy, it just happened to happen. And they also were talking about going forward in construction together and real estate, doing that type of stuff. And it was going to be cool. But the girl, she didn't seem to have the same type of motivation or mindset as the guy did. So that was one of the reasons why I didn't really want to associate with her. I didn't, go out and talk to the guy. I only did when Lucky was around. But I guess that kind of hurt her feelings. And that's just me. I'm not the type of person to associate or talk to everybody because I only have so much energy and love to give to people, and I don't want to misplace it. And I'm not saying I have a finite amount. We're all infinite, intelligent beings. But at the time, especially, I had just given birth. We had this new business going. And it was I don't have time to waste on somebody who I don't really see myself associating with long term in the future. And yeah, that was kind of what it was, whatever. And one of the issues that I had with her specifically was she kept asking to smoke in the house. And it's look, first of all, it's our house. You shouldn't, I don't even think it makes sense to ask that question. And plus, it wasn't even cold outside. They were our tenants before, I don't know, was it October, September time? So it wasn't cold. It was maybe a little chilly sometimes. But I had a newborn. I had an infant. And it was no, you can't smoke in the house. And that seemed to be something that was reoccurring, and it was weird. And the thing was, we had a garage. We had not a regular garage. I have a regular garage right now, but at our old house, we had a big ass garage to the point where we didn't even use it as a garage. Lucky just used it as his man cave. And it was just smoke in a garage type of thing, but that just, that just seemed to be a reoccurring thing. And so And they also had a dog. I liked the dog. The dog was really cute. He liked my dog. My dog liked him. Come here, MJ. Do not go over there. Okay. And yeah, it was, it didn't work out. Because for one thing, they moved. So, I mean, if you want to call it luck, that's what it was. They ended up moving out of the state and, starting a new life elsewhere, which was fine. We bought their dog from them because they couldn't take it with them, and then we ended up giving the dog away because we couldn't. Like, our dog was already big. We had a pit bull, and their dog, I forgot what breed. I think he was a mutt. He looked like a mutt. He might not have been. I may not just know what breed of dog he was, but yeah. And we couldn't keep him, so we ended up giving him away. But yeah, it was just interesting how that was. And I don't think she meant to be disrespectful in some of the things she did. It was just, they were older than us for one. I was 19, my husband was 20, and they were in their mid-20s. And it just seemed like some stuff to us that was common sense, it wasn't really common sense to her. And so, I don't know. It was just different. And I'm kind of glad that experience is over. No bad feelings from me, at least. It was just, that happened. And so, yeah, there wasn't much to happen during that time. I remember one time she was on the phone with somebody and she said that she was, hanging with her roommates. And I'm like, first of all, we're not hanging and we're not like chilling or anything. You're not even a roommate. You are a tenant. You don't pay half the rent here. You pay barely 1/4 of it, not even 1/4. So it was like I said, it wasn't really a financial thing. It was just something we wanted to try out because we wanted to start doing Airbnb and that type of thing. So we were just like kind of testing the water, seeing how we wanted to run things. So that was that first story. And then I have a second one. Okay, so the second tenant we had, she was an older woman, and this was more of again, not a financial situation. We wanted somebody who we could leave MJ with. At the time, we weren't able to keep paying our babysitter. So, man, we had some stuff happen financially, but I'll get to that in a second. I'll leave that for the end of the video. But she was interesting. She was an interesting person. We allowed her to use our car at some points in time. And it was like weird because she would like leave the door open sometimes. And it was like, why are you leaving our car door open? And we had to kick her out. The other tenants, they ended up moving, so we didn't have to kick them out. But the other lady, we ended up having to kick her out because for one thing, she wasn't even readily available to watch MJ, and she wasn't paying rent either. And it was like, she would wash dishes. We didn't keep a dirty house, so she didn't have to do much to housekeep. But when we wanted her to watch MJ, she wasn't readily available because we didn't have a set schedule. We let her know that. We're like, we're entrepreneurs, we're real estate entrepreneurs, and our work is kind of sporadic sometimes. So since you're not working or, whatever, we're going to need you to be ready on call, and you're not paying rent. So you're kind of obligated to do that. And she seemed like she understood, but I guess it wasn't that understanding. So, okay, he's in the grass. That's cute. MJ, you want to say hey? Dog. And so, yeah, we ended up having to kick her out. It sucked because, she was basically homeless after that point. And it's like, that's one of the things in real estate specifically that you kind of have to get over is not having too much sympathy for your tenants. Okay. So it's like, if you're not paying rent and you're not doing what we want you to do, you can't stay. We did lie for her to get out. We said something different than just get out because we wanted to be nice about it. Luckily, didn't matter. She was able to leave, and now it's fine. But yeah, it wasn't really much from that either. So it's just like, again, no hard feelings. It was just like, it couldn't continue. But now I'm gonna get into a little bit of juicy stuff. I don't want to reveal too much, but okay, so this wasn't going to be part of the story time, but I did think about it. Um, when we did have to move from our house, it was like so many different things going on at one time, but it was one major thing, and that was that our business partnership was failing. That business wasn't being fruitful at all, and it was. I mean, of course, it was semi everybody's fault who was part of the business. We had four partners total, me and Lucky being two of them, and that business ended up going in the toilet. And like the only deal we closed was something that me and my bird dogs were able to close. So it wasn't fruitful, and we couldn't keep going. I ended up taking over the business, but without the materials that we had, I couldn't like keep it up by myself, and it just a lot fell on my shoulders. I was 19, so it was kind of unrealistic to whatever. But businesses fail. That happens sometimes, and that wasn't even a thing. Um, so we had gone. Well, Lucky had gone into business with the one of the partners from that business, and so we thought we were going to be fine as far as finances go. We didn't have our previous real estate job for the other company because conflict of interest. They didn't want us to work for another real estate company or do our own deals while we were in business with them, which I mean makes sense from a business standpoint. That does make sense, but then it got to a point where we were literally like struggling a lot, and the other business partner was like, there was this one deal that Lucky had on the table. He was supposed to make quite a bit of money from it. I'm not going to disclose the amount or anything. He was supposed to make quite a bit of money, and we kept being told like it's going to close. We put down earnest money. Everything's in place for it to close, you're going to get your money. But we were still struggling. We were waiting on this deal to close. It's like, hey, we have bills to pay. So Lucky wants to get a job. Just, until the deal closes. Like, it wasn't going to be a thing where it's like, he's going to get the job and then quit. It's like, he has a wife and kid to feed, and we had a dog at the time. So it was like, and we had just got our cat, and it was like, he wants to get a job to make sure that we're okay. And then the business partner was like, well, if you get a job, you're not going to get any of your deal. And it's like, for one thing, he found the deal, he went and took pictures, and he met with the seller, and he did all the stuff, all the acquisitions, and he did everything he was supposed to do. So what does him getting a job have to do with him not getting the profits from that deal? Because if he wants to quit this business after this deal closes, that's his own business, and he should be allowed to do that regardless, because wasn't really the best and organized business anyway. They're not in business anymore, so they go. But with that threat being put on us, and we were also naive and young, I was 19, he was 20, what can you expect from people who are like 10, 12, 13 years older than you? I guess you could say they were taking advantage of us, but regardless, they were like, yeah, if you get a job, you're not going to get any of this deal. So being naive, we stuck it out. We ended up moving back home, and the deal didn't close. Go figure. So we lost everything, including our house, and we don't have our dog anymore, and like life just kind of like woo. And it was like one of those things where it's like, oh, okay, yeah, that sucks. We're never doing that again. So my next business partnerships, I made sure that they were like carefully, I'm not gonna say curated, but anyone who offered me the business partnership, I just made sure to not be in that type of bind anymore. Lucky kind of just stopped with that. Anything that we did after that point, it was just me and him together, or it was me and me working with my business partner, and Lucky was there to like help me get my job done. And things were okay from that point on because we weren't in any more like stressful situations like that. And yeah, that ending kind of sucks, but all you do is reset and you regroup and you get back to what you wanted to do originally. Because I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and close this video out because the story time is over with the tenants. So if you guys like that, please leave a thumbs up and a comment. Have you guys ever rented out a room to people? Have you guys ever thought about renting a room? Have you ever rented a room? Tell some weird stories in the comments. But Yeah, like it was a big learning experience. Don't go blindly into business with somebody, especially when they're promising you a salary and then they don't pay you the salary. Because the whole reason we were so easy to drop our previous job and to go into this new one or new partnership was because we were promised what they refer to as petty cash, and that was going to be consistent income, and that was just enough for us to live off of. We didn't really have much. We weren't asking for much. It was just like, hey, we have these bills already. We're already paying these bills already. We don't really like the house we had. We were going to make it home. Like I said, we painted it. It was kind of a fixer upper. We had some other things to be done to the house and stuff. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like the business partner would assist us and help us out since we weren't getting the petty cash. So it was like we needed help here, we needed help there, and without the petty cash to just keep us at ease, it was just very stressful. And oh, the wind is blowing. Oh, what is this? I don't know what that is. Oh, I don't know what that is. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that there. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out because my phone's doing something weird. But yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna go into detail about that. Please don't ask who, what, when, where. It was years ago now. It's just part of the story and regrouping and resetting. I probably wouldn't rent out a room in my own house anymore. I definitely would like to buy property to rent out rooms or do Airbnb specifically in those properties, but I don't think I could share my space with anybody that I don't know personally. I would definitely rent out a room to like a relative or a friend or something because sometimes people are unreliable, and I'd much rather have an unreliable relative or friend rather than a stranger, because it's like the only reason we're in contact right now is so you could pay me money, and if you're not going to pay me money, get out. that type of thing. So yeah. Oh. What is going on here? Okay, anyway. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that story time and little glimpse of what our life was like in early parenthood, early marriagehood, early. We weren't homeowners, we were renting at the time, but we were going to make that place our home. We wanted to buy it. We told the landlord that we wanted to buy it. I still might buy it, honestly, depending on, how the landlord keeps the property and everything like that. Depending on how I am in the future, I would still like to buy the property. I loved it. But yeah, just be careful when you rent out rooms. Make sure you screen your tenants properly. And also, don't go into business blindly with people that you don't know, because you never know what will happen. And if you'll get threatened, if you get a job, you won't make money from a deal that you found. So, yeah. So, bye, you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Oh my gosh, what?